Well, hello everybody, welcome to another video tutorial. My name is Peter Drakulic, and today I would like to show you how you can type a simple yet a well-structured program that is going to convert the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit and from Fahrenheit to Celsius. It is a typical example of a simple yet well-structured program, right, through using functions in Python. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now we are inside the Python shell, which is not the right environment for writing a program, which is going to be longer than one line. So let's go ahead and press Ctrl N and bring up this nice text editor here, where we can start typing our program. First of all, we want to define a main function to our program. The main function is going to have control over the flow of the program, and the main function is going to call the other functions that we might need to have inside the program, such as the function that converts Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. So the first thing I want to do is to define my main function. So the keyword for that in Python is def or def. The name of the function is main, followed by parentheses, meaning that we want to define a new function. So colon, and now we're entering the body of the function. The first thing I want to do here is to initialize, as we call it, to declare and initialize, meaning I want to assign an expression to a new variable, which is going to be the user choice variable. And what this variable is going to do is that it is going to get the input by the user of the prompt. Do you want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit? In that case, press C, or Fahrenheit to Celsius, in which case press F, or quit the program. In that case, just enter Q. So that's a prompt, and based upon the user choice variable, which is going to be a string, we're going to define different cases. First, all right, while the user won't be entering Q, meaning he or she doesn't want to quit the program, so let's add a while loop here. While user choice variable not equals, and that's a symbol for inequality, all right, not equals in Python, not equals to Q, all right, colon, then we're going to see the different cases here through using a simple if, elif, else statement. So if user choice variable, meaning the input from the user, equals, now double equal, this is not the assignment statement, this is the equality symbol or operator in Python, which results in a Boolean true or false value by comparing the right hand and left hand side expressions. Okay, so if user choice equals to C, meaning that our user wants to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, this is the first case over here, then enter. I'm going to comment this out, so we are not typing now some code, but we are just commenting what we want for the program. What we want for the program to do is call the Celsius to Fahrenheit function, and then input again, ask if you prefer, ask if the user wants to repeat the calculation. So we want here for our program to do two things: call the Celsius to Fahrenheit function and ask the user if he or she wants to repeat the calculation, all right, while he doesn't want to quit, of course. Now we're going to add the code in just a moment. Let's see the other cases now, the other options we have. Elif now, else if user choice equals to F. This is the case, this one, where the user might want to calculate the Fahrenheit to Celsius temperature conversion. So in that case here, again, comment. This is a comment. This is not actual code. We're going to write to type the code in just a while. Call the Fahrenheit to Celsius function, which again we have not defined just yet. All right, and then ask then after the calculation if the user wants to repeat the calculation. Elif, user's choice now, alright, is not equal to C, and logical and user choice not equals to F, meaning that the user doesn't want to quit first, right? But again, he has or she has not entered C or F. That means that he or she has entered a wrong character, right? Then, just tell the user he has entered the wrong and invalid, if you prefer, an invalid character, and input a new character from the user. All right, that's what we want for our program to do. And last case is that else, meaning that if nothing of those is true, happens, all right, else we want for our program to again take the input, get the input, get the user, or even better, ask the user if he or she wants to repeat the calculation. Alright, so these are the various cases we have for our user while the user does want to quit. Now, what about if our user wants to quit the program? So take care about the indentation in Python. You want to exit this, this if else statement, and you want to come exactly at the line in line with the while statement. All right, not the def, because we are already inside this block here. So we want to be no more to the left than the while statement, or the user choice if you prefer here, line here. All right, so in that case where the user enters quit, Q, meaning Q, we want for our program to print thanks, just print thanks, now exiting the program. All right, and that's it with our main function. We had defined our main function. Let's go ahead and define now the Celsius to Fahrenheit and the Fahrenheit to Celsius functions, and we're going to do so here. So def, Celsius to Fahrenheit first, function, parentheses, meaning we want to define a function. Now we're entering the body of the function, and we want to declare and initialize a new variable, which is going to be the degrees in Celsius that the user has entered. So let's type in C. Let's name this variable C, and this variable is assigned, all right, gets the eval of the input from the user of the prompt. Please enter the degrees in Celsius. All right. So now let's close these quotes and let's close those parentheses. Please pay attention here to the eval function. The eval function is a very useful function in Python, which allows us for evaluating. Actually, that's what the name eval is for, evaluating the input of the user. So we are going to ask from the user to enter a string here in the input function. So please enter the degrees in Celsius. What we type in the keyboard is a string, all right? It's of data type, if you prefer, string data type. Now we want to, for Python, to evaluate the string and convert it into the numerical equivalent. Depending upon what we have typed in as a string, it might get interpreted either as an integer or a float number. So the evaluate function saves us a lot of time because it automatically translates the string data type into a number, either integer or float, that the program can use in our calculations. So the next thing is we want to enter the formula for converting the Celsius degrees to Fahrenheit. So the formula, if I remember well, should be 9 divided by 5 and multiplied by the C, the degrees in Celsius, I mean, plus 32. That's a formula for converting the Celsius degrees into Fahrenheit. So after the value of the degrees Fahrenheit has been evaluated, this expression has been evaluated, we are good to go, and all we want for our program is to output this through the use of a print function. So print, and pay attention please here, I'm entering this symbol here, which is a format specifier, as we call it, and I'm using the letter D that signifies the integer, a number integer. So we want to replace those characters here, the format specifier and the integer symbol here, with an integer, and we're going to specify later on, as you're going to see, which one this integer is going to be. All right, let me just stick with me and you'll see what I mean in just a while. So degrees in Celsius result in, again, format specifier. This one is going to be replaced by an integer again, degrees Fahrenheit. All right, and now to complete this formatting, if you prefer, syntax, we need to enter here the format specifier, parentheses, and the two variables that are going to replace this format specifier and this format specifier in the right order. First, the Celsius variable. So C, we don't know yet the value yet, is going to get evaluated, but C degrees in Celsius result in F degrees Fahrenheit. So I want to put here C, comma, F as arguments, all right, for this format specifier. I'm closing parentheses, and now we're good to go with the definition of Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let's go ahead and define now the Fahrenheit to Celsius. This one, Fahrenheit to Celsius, this one over here, all right? So because those two functions are really very similar to each other, I can just copy the body and the declaration of the Celsius to Fahrenheit, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going here and define my Fahrenheit to Celsius. So paste this here, just make the right, changes here, Fahrenheit to Celsius. All right, and here we want for the user to enter the Fahrenheit degrees now. So please enter the degrees in Fahrenheit. And the string is going to be evaluated by the eval function and is going to be stored to the F variable. So now I want to enter the formula for calculating the Celsius number according to the relative to the F input. So C gets, if you prefer, the parenthesis f minus 32, this is the formula, multiplied by 5 and divided by 9. Okay? So this is the formula, and now we want to output for our program pretty much as before, to output that the integer of f here, degrees in Fahrenheit this time. We want to make this change. Oops. Fahrenheit, let me write it again. Result in integer goes here, alright, degrees Celsius. So we just switched the two values, and here we want to switch the order, because now this format specifier is going to get replaced by the Fahrenheit input, and then this one is going to be the C variable, okay, which is going to replace this format specifier and replace this with the value of the C variable here, calculated after evaluating the expression on the right side. So we have defined also the Fahrenheit to Celsius function. Now all we need to do is to write one line that is going to start the program. So the one line is the main function. Call to the main function, just this statement that is going to call the main function, and then the main function, alright, is going to call the different Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius, depending upon the input of the user. But before that, we need to add some code here. If user choice is equals to C, meaning that the user wants to calculate the Celsius to Fahrenheit, call the Celsius to Fahrenheit function. So we want to add this in our code here. So Celsius to Fahrenheit, it's this case, in this case here, Fahrenheit function, and then we want for our program to ask again if the user wants to repeat the calculation. So just copy this user choice input here and just copy it and paste this over here. Be careful with the indentation. You can see we want to be exactly those two letters to be the one, the U underneath the C letter, so exactly in line, aligned, very, very important. Again, for the case that the user choice variable equals F, we want to call for the program to call the Fahrenheit to Celsius function. So let's go ahead and call it with the statement Fahrenheit now to Celsius, Fahrenheit, whatever to Celsius. Let's be careful with the, with how we, alright, here you can see I need to write it the right way, because otherwise it will result to a typo. Alright, Fahrenheit to Celsius function, and then ask again the user if the user wants to repeat the calculation. So stop and take the input, get the input from the user. So let's copy this line and paste it here, alright, and be careful with the indentation, always in Python, very important. The spaces, the blank space is very important, alright. And now elif user choice is not equal to C and user choice is not equal to F. This is a logical AND operator, meaning that for this elif to be true, to have a true value, must at the same time both the user choice variable must at the same time to be different than C and different than F at the same time, so that this AND has a meaning, a value of true, if you prefer. So in that case there, we want to, for our user choice variable, to tell the user that he has entered an invalid character and input a new character. So we want our user choice variable get the input, please enter with the prompt, enter a valid choice character, right? This is what we want for our program to do here. And else, if nothing of those three happens, then else ask the user if he or she wants to repeat the calculation. So we need a user choice input. Do you want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit or vice versa, a statement here. All right, so let's type this as well. Let's be careful with indentation. Sometimes we might have, some mistakes here. Maybe it's possible, so we want to make sure. So now let's go ahead and save our program as Fahrenheit, Celsius, and hopefully we won't have any typo, but if we have, we're going to correct it. So let's press F5 and see what's going on. Do you want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius, or quit? Let's start with an invalid character. So let's type in, let's say 34. You can see that now our program warns us about an invalid character we have entered it. It's not C, it's not F, and it's not Q. So it is something that the program cannot interpret. So the program asks for us, please enter a valid choice character. Let me show you where this is here. So while user choice is not Q, indeed it's not Q, it's 34. While that is true, this is not the case, this is not the case, and this is the case. The character is neither C or F. So in that case, we have the prompt, please enter a valid character. So now I'm going to enter either C or F or Q, but let's try with the C first. So I'm in the program, I want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now the program, it is this here, this case here, all right? I've entered C, so the program calls the Celsius to Fahrenheit function, this one, Celsius to Fahrenheit, and starts executing the first assignment here. So it's going to evaluate the input, please enter the degrees in Celsius. So let me enter a Celsius temperature, let's say something, I'm not sure, maybe 21 maybe, or something, all right? And 21 degrees in Celsius result in 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the program, after it has called the Celsius to Fahrenheit, let me show you, Celsius to Fahrenheit, asks from the user, this line here, to input if he or she wants again to calculate the conversion. So let me now try the Fahrenheit conversion, F. Please enter the degrees in Fahrenheit. So now the program executes this second elif statement. User choice is F now, and the program wants to call the Fahrenheit to Celsius function. So it's going to accept the input from me in Fahrenheit, evaluated it, and convert it into a Celsius degrees and print output this here. So let me enter Fahrenheit, let me say 69, all right, and 69 degrees in Fahrenheit result in 20 degrees in Celsius. Why this difference, 21 to 20? Because simply we want the integer now. If you remember, we want here to type in the integer through the format specifier, which integer is always get rounded, all right, to the floor, as we call it, to the closest integer. Okay, while if it was a float, we will have the full precision. So, do you want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius, or quit? Let's quit now. All right, let me enter quit here. I'm not sure why it doesn't accept that, but normally if we enter quit, it should write type here, thanks, now exiting the program. So in that case, it's where the while loop ends, all right? So I have entered the Q, the letter Q. In that case, the user choice is equal to Q, is not different than Q, and the program skips all the while loop here and just prints outputs, thanks, now exit the program, and the function stops here, all right, and the program actually stops running. from the through the main function. Okay, so that's how you can type in a very simple yet well-structured program in Python through using functions, and try to have some practice on all those loops, if, elif, else, while, loop, and also the definitions of functions and the eval function, the input, the print, the format specifier. We talked about so many things today, and I hope you liked this tutorial and you learned something from this. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time with a hopefully interesting topic. Until then, have fun and goodbye.